Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, IMDb, who also sponsors this panel.
Welcome to the Outfronts presented by IMDb. I'm your moderator, Dana Piccoli. It's time to hoist those sails and celebrate a show that's brought us so much joy. Our Flag Means Death is a Max original series that debuted in March 2022, managed to pillage our hearts. So we're thrilled to have 5 of the incredible cast members here with us today. Please give a big virtual welcome to Rhys, Taika, Vico, Nathan, and Khan. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hello.
All right. Well, let me start off with a hardball question. Okay, let's get serious. Did you all and David set out to make the queerest show on television? Or, you know, I mean, all the major love stories are queer in some way. That's pretty much unheard of when a show is being marketed towards a mainstream audience.
I mean, to be honest, I thought I'm used to being the token queer person on most projects, so I just thought I was gonna be me. And then when I did the pilot, and then I was like, oh, this is pretty gay. And then it kept getting gayer. That I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. It's not just me. I'm not hallucinating. So it's yeah. They just did it. They made it happen. Y'all made it happen.
It all was going by me. And then I was on set while Taika and Rhys were doing the handkerchief in the pocket scene. And I was watching it on the monitor. And as I was watching it on the monitor, I thought, fuck, it's a big gay love story. And
you know that
before that, it just passed me by.
That is one of my mom's favorite scenes, by the way. Like, we were watching it, and then the way that she just gasped and then just looked at me and was like, are they gonna fall in love? And I was like, just you keep watching. It was so sweet.
I really relate to what Vico said as well. I pointed that way because Vico's there for me.
You're down here for me.
God damn it. I thought we could have like a fun Brady Bunch thing going on. I really relate to what Vico said because I when I got cast in the show, because obviously you don't have a huge amount of material when you first get cast, so you don't have a lot to go on. And I thought I was going to be the queer component of the show. You all
thought you were going to be the queer component.
Truly, all of us thought like, oh, I'm like the gay one or whatever, you know. And then it was actually really cool and galling to turn up and realize like, oh no, there's like a bunch of us, and like you're not special, Nathan. That's what I very quickly learned.
It was a bit like that. It was a bit like on those first few days, who's the gayest? And
and it's you all are the answer.
But putting on one of probably the first outfit I put on with the shoes with the bows and the things like that. And I thought, well, I'm going to step up here. This is a very beautifully gay outfit. And when I started walking in those high heels, it just all sort of started to fit into place. Deed was born.
And then you met a Blackbeard who took all of his fashion from Tom of Finland.
I'll never forget when you arrived on the ship, that moment. I mean, I'd been hung for a number of, it felt like hours spinning around. I mean, I had a harness on, but it was one of the most horrific things I've had to do as an actor is just spin around with a thing around my neck and watch as people are killing each other and stuff like that. And then I get dropped down, and then there's just that really huge moment when Blackbeard arrives and walks along and then bends over and sort of looks at me. And that's a big moment because I didn't see my friend Taika. I saw this very good looking but evil kind of bad boy. Ooh. But he was rescuing me. So all of a sudden there was this connection of chemistry that it's hard to explain, but it just felt really real.
It's the power of acting.
The power of acting with costumes and smoke
and mirrors.
At what point did you realize that this show was going to have the impact on the fans that it has?
I
once it would,
I sort of haven't even figured that out. I don't know how that happened, and it just became a thing where it's such a huge presence in the fan art world as well, and it's and they are a huge presence in our world. I love it. It's great. Like even coming to the second season, just seeing all the stuff, like all that art, like Blackbeard and Steed in a bar, and Blackbeard's in like suspenders and fishnet stockings, like back on the bar pouring a cocktail for Steed. This has been great. I mean, that's just one of the drawings that I saved from Twitter, and it's that was quite amazing just seeing all of that.
Whoever did that drawing now is going to lose their absolute mind. that drawing got us a specific shout out. They're going to lose their mind. Yeah, I guess there was never I mean, I thought the show would do well. I thought people would like the show, especially as the season sort of progressed and we realized, you know, or slowly but surely realized how like queer it was. I was like, oh, I'm sure this will have like a queer fan base, but I don't think any of us could have anticipated quite how passionately the show would be embraced. You know, we were talking before we started filming about conventions and things like that, and like meeting the fans of the show, and nothing could have prepared me for how much it's touched and affected people. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, similarly. I mean, I knew it was going to be a fan favorite, but the way that it's really skyrocketed worldwide was like, oh wow, this is huge. The creatives behind, I mean, the stories they write, the artwork they are doing, the cosplays, it truly is just, it's so impressive how their minds just, it's amazing how many people have been ignited in their creations by just watching the show.
Yeah.
And it's clear how much you respect and all love your fans, and it's clear that the feeling is mutual. So love to see that. So Rhys and Taika, Steed and Blackbeard have this something special. Let's just say they've become a beloved pirate ship. Excuse the pun. But something I noticed is that lesbians and queer women really were gravitating towards this relationship. Why do you think their connection is so universally loved by fans of all orientations?
I think they can see the love, they can see the difference in these two humans. They can see the struggle of personal identity, of the struggle of who one is and who one is supposed to be. and it's I'm always taken a little bit also towards that Greece situation with Sandy, whatever it is. It's been the what was it, the 80s when that came out? But Sandy and Danny, that kind of thing. Do you change yourself for the other person? Is that person representing something you want to be but can't be, but you are that inside? And there's some sort of, I mean, obviously there's a massive chemistry there that we portrayed well, but I think it's that the dream of being the other thing, and that other thing is right in front of your face. And then if you both come together, you're both one. And I think that was really portrayed really obviously and beautifully in the show with the costuming and the character portrayals.
I think with that same thought line, it's almost like a yin-yang situation, right? Where you have this duality of energies, and then you see a little bit of yourself there. Like you also want to be that, and then that person also wants to be you, and there's like a little bit of that going on, which I think to your question, like with lesbian sapphic relationships, there's a lot of that dynamic happening as well, that like mask femme, but there's like femme within the mask and like mask within the femme. And there's like, I mean, this is a very binary explanation, but it's like very much that like duality of like, there's a little bit of fluidity and like a little bit of each other on that mirror, right? And I think it's really cool too. I think because yeah, I see lesbians like dressing
crazy
up
about
like,
it.
It's great, you know. So I think it's a little bit of that, you know, that there is this like there's an interior of softness with the exterior of toughness, and then there's an exterior of softness with an interior of toughness, and then there's that duality of like, oh, we can share this, we have the same, it's just expressed differently. And it's just, and you both did such a beautiful job, and everybody can relate to it because we're all human beings and we all have that duality.
It's kind as well. It's the relationship. I'm so bored of seeing gay relationships portrayed as this huge obstacle to overcome, to fall in love with somebody of your own gender. And the obstacle here isn't about two men falling in love. The obstacle here is just letting them fall in love. And the kindness of that is overwhelming. And the acceptance of everyone on the ship is overwhelming. It's so rarely allowed to breathe that way, a gay relationship. It's usually always like confronted with, this is a problem, that's a problem, this is a problem. This is just two fucking pirates getting on, and it's beautiful, man. And the boys do it so beautifully.
I like how that relationship is sort of beside the point. It's like it's not the point of we're watching. It just happens to be. And you know, if it was any other film, it'll be like, we can't kiss because it's 1952 and it's, you know, it's frowned upon, and we can't hold hands. It's like it would be just all about that. And this is not about that at all with this. I love that, and I've said this before, is that I love that no character were, oh, those two holding hands.
Yeah.
What's up with that? They're like, oh, I knew they'd get together. Right. All the peripheral characters and all the other characters who like, and
I've never seen that.
I'm talking about second season, but like, all the relationship.
I've never seen that before in a gay love story. It's never been just about the process of falling in love. It's always been about the barriers. Fuck that. We're beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Vico, I have been following your career for a long time. I think I've even run into you a couple times at Klexicon over the years, but
Absolutely it's so good to see you again.
I am so glad to see you getting the love that you very much deserve for all of your hard work and advocacy. Jim it's impossible not to love Jim. And how much of that authenticity and vulnerability you bring to the character. Why do you think Jim connects with so many fans?
Oh goodness. I think a lot of fans connect with Jim because Jim really is just Jim, right? Oftentimes people are so concerned about like looking a certain way because of what society expects you to be or behave, and then Jim is just Jim, and when the reveal happens, no one changes the way they treat Jim because it's always been Jim, and it's like, we can do that. That's totally doable. It's a possibility to just like be who you are and not have to give out this like PowerPoint presentation and explanation of like, this is what this is. It's just like, oh, I go by Jim, and I'm just Jim. And it's like, oh, okay, moving along. And I think that's so very rad and so very cool. I think oftentimes there's this expectation of like having to explain who you are and like in detail, right, for other people to understand you and respect you. And that's not, you don't have to know all this information in order to just like address someone the way that they want to be addressed by. And I think that's something that's really relatable and so endearing about of Jim. And then who doesn't love someone who's just like really rad with knives? Just like, yeah, okay, cool. They can do that. That's nice.
Added bonus. Sure. Well, Khan, you've been able to do something that is difficult. You've made the show's villain extremely lovable. I have seen so much Izzy fan art and declarations of adoration. What do you think makes Izzy so compelling?
Every one of us who's watching this has been in love with somebody who doesn't love them back. That's who he is. And, you know, he's been called homophobic all the time. And I don't think he is homophobic. He just doesn't understand why Blackbeard falls in love with this guy. He just doesn't understand it. And there's nothing about this guy that responds to Izzy. Izzy doesn't respond to Steve. And it breaks his heart that Blackbeard falls in love. Sex is sex on that ship. Sex is sex in that environment. But falling in love is something else. And seeing how quickly Blackbeard fell in love with Stephen, how deeply he fell in love with Steve, breaks his heart. And like a lot of people, he lashes out because he can't comprehend that. He doesn't understand love. Love is beyond it. He grows, but slowly. And I think that's why people are attracted to Izzy, is because he's not just a one-dimensional villain. He's hurting throughout, you know, it breaks him. But he's good at his job, so that's that.
Well, now my heart hurts. Wow, that was beautiful. Do any of you want to share why you find Izzy so compelling? Because that was so beautiful.
I'm good. No, I'm joking.
He's a badass as well. You know, he's hunky. He's capable. He's a swordsmith. You know, and he's a really good pirate. He knows his shit, and he's loyal. And loyalty is a massive thing. People fall in love with people who are loyal, because not many people are loyal. They'll, you know, in my experience, I'm loyal. So call me loyal. That's the second time I've broken into a song.
I expect nothing less.
I love that song. That song is so good.
You know that one, yeah.
Yeah. I think with Izzy and the same can be said for a lot of the characters in the show. I think the reason that specifically queer audiences have fallen in love with them is because it's maybe too sort of involved and deep an answer, but I think the characters are so sort of damaged and come from quite tragic backgrounds. That's kind of which is kind of a prerequisite for like being a pirate. You know, you've made some pretty wrong decisions in life, or you've been dealt a pretty poor hand if you're a pirate. And I think so many queer people inherently, regardless of their background, like sort of feel like damaged goods in a lot of ways. Like they feel I don't know, you can, like, growing up queer, it can be very easy to feel unworthy or unlovable, and then to see these characters that are kind of messy and damaged, and to see them sort of banding together and finding love and making connections, I think there's something really sort of beautiful and relatable and kind of symbolic about that, maybe.
Well, Nathan, I want to stay with you because I love Lucius so much. Everything he does, he says, it just lands perfectly. I mean, we love a mean gay with a secret heart of gold, right? But who's not afraid to advocate for himself. The romance with Black Pete, unexpected joy. Obviously, fans are worried about your fate, and we can't talk about season 2. So we'll all just have to suffer a little bit longer. But as an openly gay actor, what does it mean to you to be able to play such an iconic queer character?
Oh, that's what a nice list of compliments. Thank you so much. It was really special for me. You know, I've talked about this a bit before, but I trained as an actor when I was 18. I went to drama school, and it kind of put me off acting completely. I didn't act professionally throughout the sort of rest of my 20s because it was such a kind of awful experience for me. And there was and so much of the emphasis of my drama school training was about sort of like de-gaying me and just like ridding me of all sort of like outward legible expressions of like queerness or whatever. And then to get to be in a show where as Taika said earlier, it was kind of by the by, like it was never a big deal that Lucius was gay. I just got to kind of like fully live in that. And then also to get to play a gay character that really runs the gamut, as you say. I'm so lucky with a character like Lucius because he gets to sort of be everything, you know. It's such a, and I really thought I had been hired to like kind of roll my eyes and sort of be kind of sassy and you know, and I was happy to do that. But then
you contain multitudes.
Well, exactly. Well, and that was kind of unexpected for me, like with the romance with Black Pete and the sort of developing relationship that Lucius has with like Steed, and you know, I think that it was really special for me to get to do all of that alongside all of the funny, sassy, mean gay quips, you know. So what a treat to get to do both of those in one show. It was so fun.
Wonderful.
I think one of the best things about this show is that nobody has a speech about inclusivity, representation in this show. No one's like, you know what? It's okay to be different. It's such it's like in every American show, there's you have that monologue about like, just to explain to audiences what they're watching. And I love that this show doesn't do that.
I would love to see Lucius try and do that monologue and everyone and be like, you know what, the thing about me and my life, and everyone be like, shut the fuck up.
Like, we're all gay here, okay?
No one gives a shit.
Wait, you're gay?
Yeah, that kind of vibe.
Well, this show has had so many incredible guest stars, including Leslie Jones, Will Arnett. Now, they may not be around for long, but they have a significant impact on the direction of the story. What have been some of your favorite moments with your guest stars?
Oh, goodness. I think, well, I loved working with Leslie and meeting Leslie. The first time I met Leslie was during a stunt rehearsal. So we just like immediately got down and dirty, like sweaty, like all up in each other, trying to like learn the choreography before even just like, it was like, hello, we need to learn this fight. But I think one of my favorite things to learn about her was that her type is how Jim looks like with the beard and the nose. So I played her a little bit with her with that in one of the scenes, and it was just so much fun. She's just such a hilarious person to be with, and on and off set, it's such a wonderful, hilarious, kind, compassionate soul. It was just, she's a delight. I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, she definitely brought a big energy, which we needed at that point, and the positivity and just, the comedy, I think shifted another level as well when we're in that zone, when she had the knife to my face with the nose situation. I think all the guest stars were fantastic. I really enjoyed Will Arnett's day, acting alongside him, opposite him, fighting for the love of Blackbeard with him, really bringing me down, bringing Steed down, I should say. It was like we were just kids playing dress ups and being able to play pirates with some of the funniest people on the planet. It was really ridiculous. And looking back, and you can see it in the show that we had fun and that it came off really well. But you get these moments as an actor where you're so worried about making sure it's great that you don't, it just becomes so fleeting. And thank God it's captured on a camera so you can look at it and go, oh, that's right, we really did this and had fun. That's my perspective anyway, because I'm trying my best, but at the same time trying to enjoy every moment, because it's so special to get to work with these people.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's truly like, as like a sort of strange British child who grew up like obsessed with like feverishly watching like SNL bootlegs on YouTube and stuff, and I just grew up so obsessed with SNL. So it was just like total wish fulfillment to work. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I remember very specifically, I remember working one day where Fred and Leslie were on set together, and we were in like cast holding. And I remember just sat in cast. I didn't say a word, and Leslie and Fred were just sat swapping SNL stories back and forth. And I was like, I was just like openly moaning the entire time. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is the greatest day of my life, I think. So yeah, that was very, very cool. I mean, those all of those guest stars are just like unbelievable. I'm just beyond all of our wildest dreams, I think.
I didn't get the chance to work with Will because I'm not in that. We're on the last day filming. It was a wrap day for everyone, and Will was in. And I sat in the makeup trailer with Taika, Rhys, and Will while they were all doing Monty Python sketches. And it was one of the best days of my life.
Aww.
And I took a moment to just fangirl on Will a little bit, but just, you know, just being around that kind of insane creativity is just, I'm from Wigan. I never thought I'd be in a trailer with these.
Those are the moments I'm talking about, though, of remembering those and how special they are, and they seem fleeting, but yeah, when you brought that up, that reminded me of that exact time, and that's one of the luckiest things about having this job as an actor is capturing those moments, and you know, and then capturing. No, I'm not going to.
Okay, so final question for you. Out of all of your fellow cast members, or even yourself, who would be most likely to have to walk the plank?
Not me.
Yeah, Rhys would be pretty up there, Rhys. I think. Yeah,
Rhys would be one of the first ones.
What? I was joking.
Just don't have much use in a situation like that, Rhys.
Reason
and I'm only sort of saying Rhys because I know if not Rhys, it is absolutely 100% me. So I'm just kind of, it's sort of mob mentality here. So Rhys.
I was gonna say Dave Fane. I think he's the quiet one, but I think he's quiet, but there's some stuff up there that I'm like, yeah, you should walk the plank.
He's the loveliest guy in the world.
I wonder what happened.
You know, I've seen him. This is more a reference to us playing Monopoly card. I've seen him play Monopoly card.
Mind
and there's
games.
something in that, sir, that I'm just like, you walk the plank. Now.
Dark horse for sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to all of you. I know fans cannot wait for season 2 to come out. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing this incredible series with all of us, including and especially your LGBTQ fans. So thank you for being part of Outfest.
Thank you so much for having us.
It was fun.
Great.
Yeah.